Good morning, Debbie, and it's awesome to see you. So, what have you been up to? How have you been coping with this devastation that the world is seeing? What have
That's
you been doing?
crazy. I seriously feel like I stepped on a plane in the UK and I went into some kind of time warp, and I've got back here and life as I knew it is no longer. It's been crazy. It's I don't know if I ever could have thought this would happen in a million years. Like, I guess it's something that you think might happen, but I don't know. But I had people to call as soon as I got back. I had people on my books, and so I had already booked out till like the middle of April.
Mhm.
And
As in bookings to photograph or bookings for calls?
no, bookings to photograph. I had clients on the books to photograph. So they were my first calls, obviously,
How-
because here, sorry.
What were their reactions to you calling?
Oh, they were grateful. People are a lot easier to get a hold of when they're in quarantine.
This is true. Where else
Yeah,
are they going to be?
I know, and I think they're just maybe sick of talking to the people who they're stuck in the house with, so they want to talk to somebody different. I don't know, but anyway, we're here in Virginia. We are in like non-essential business shutdown, and so I just kind of called just to. I guess technically I probably could have still done some of the shoots, but the ladies that I'm photographing are in the demographic that is at the higher risk, and so I didn't want to put anybody at jeopardy. Um, so we just called and rescheduled until like starting the beginning of May,
Mhm.
and
Are they
I'm
happy to reschedule, or are you finding
they
that
were
they're trying
really
to
happy.
cancel?
No, nobody's cancelled. Everybody wants to do the
Right.
session, which has been fantastic. And I think my biggest surprise has been that people, like, I had more than one lady say to me, "I just want something to look forward to," and I was like, "Perfect." So when I got on the next call, I'm like, "I'm just calling because I want to make sure you got something to look forward to."
Oh, that's great.
Just kind of
Well, I
use it.
wanted to talk about the call. Do you find that when you're calling people, you've got to have a different mindset now, or is it pretty much the same?
Um, It's not that I mean, I guess, yes, you have to be a little more sensitive, because people, they want to talk about it. You
Yeah.
can't just get straight into the call. They want to talk about how their life is on hold or what's going on, in their immediate little bubble. And you've
Yeah.
just got to be responsive to that and respectful of it, and just kind of have a little chat. And I know you don't like us to do that, but you can't, it's different times.
Yeah.
And you just kind of got to do it. But then all of them have been like, "Oh, you know what? I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. So tell me about what we're going to do." And so they'll eventually bring it back. And you
Right.
just need to be a friend at this time. I think it's
Yeah.
just, there's so much crazy out there. And
Well, I
I,
know I've heard people talk about that. They've got lots of clients wanting to cancel or wanting to reschedule, and it seems to be the same people. So I'm kind of thinking, is it a mindset of, when we're picking up the phone, we're expecting people to cancel, as opposed to really calling them first and connecting with people. I think there are some people that are too scared to call, and so they're waiting for people to call and cancel rather than taking proactive action and
yeah,
reaching out to people and making that call with a positive mindset that, hey, these people are going to need this and these people are going to look forward to speaking to me. I think people almost are approaching some of the calls with their armor up, expecting to be, you know, to be cut off and rescheduled. So I'm just wondering whether maybe it's the positivity that people are approaching this with, or lack of, that's causing the results. So when you are picking up the phone, are you turning on the positivity, I suppose, is what I'm trying to ask.
I mean, I guess I don't notice really that I'm doing anything a little bit different. But then I think I think if you're going into it, it's kind of like when you pick up the phone and you don't really want anybody to answer, and then all of a sudden they don't answer.
Mm.
Well, surprise, surprise. So it could
Amazing how
be
we manifest all of that, isn't it?
crazy, and trust me, I've done it. um, but I had people, I had leads coming in while I was in the UK. So all I did was responded to them by email while I was gone, let them know I would call them as soon as I got back. So they were expecting my call.
Mhm.
So it was almost, I mean, and it's still every day I'm still getting leads coming in. So people are still looking for something to
Well, I
do.
think that that's positive.
Yeah.
It's a positive thing because I think there will be a lot of people, a lot of the market. Obviously, it won't be anybody in our group, but people that maybe are not in our group will stop marketing.
Oh yeah, no, you can't stop marketing because
And
this isn't gonna be forever. I mean, it may be inconvenient for a couple of months, but I've not had anybody, even the people who've rescheduled, they've rescheduled, they've not cancelled, they've not asked for refunds. Like, but then that's not even in my mind. Like to me, I'm just trying to help them, and I'm trying to provide them with the best that I can absolutely do. So I'm trying to stay ahead of it, I guess, like you said, not waiting for them to call me and cancel. I'm trying to get ahead of it and contact them first and reach out.
yeah, and I think that
And
that's important. I think that's
yeah,
important. And I want to just go back and reiterate, not only is it important not to stop marketing, it's important to be increasing marketing. So right now, I think these times we need to physically increase our presence, increase our marketing, rather than, thinking about stopping marketing. We need to actually be increasing because,
yeah,
and I love the fact that you just said that there's still leads coming in, that there are still people looking for this. And I think when people are at home, and what we've never gone through anything like this, and I'm not even going to pretend that I know what's going to happen right now. But in times where, when we were going through the earthquakes in Christchurch, suddenly there was a huge increase in people looking to bring their families together, people wanting to celebrate. And to be honest, in back then, people lost all their photos, they lost their history, they lost everything because everything came crumbling down. This is different in that
mm,
that hasn't happened, but from what you're telling me, it feels like people are still looking for um, ways to celebrate their family, which is awesome.
yeah. And I think too, when something like this happens, it's a little bit of a wake up call to how fragile we really are as humans.
Yeah.
So, I mean, whatever it takes, not that I would ever wish a pandemic on anybody just to get
Mhm.
clients ever, but if that's what it takes for them to be at home for a couple of weeks and to truly appreciate, what they have, just that small little things in life, then sure, I'm going to be here to help them with that later. And I think it'll be exponential later. Like you're just here, you're touching base, you're just being a friend, you're just being human at this
Yeah.
point. It's not about the money. I know that's hard to say, but it's got to be about being human on some level at this point in the game.
Yeah. So I
So
think, that the fact that you're reaching out first, I think is primary. That's really important. And I love the fact that you're saying that there's still people reaching out looking for photography. As far as the leads go, do you feel as though, you know, are they still coming in regularly? Do you have enough leads coming in? What's happening there?
yeah, I mean, I don't get like yesterday I didn't get any, but today I got two. So it's kind of like it's not like, I mean, they come in dribbles. I'm getting, like I said, several a week.
So where are they
Um,
coming from, Deb? What have you got out there at the moment?
so I'm doing a 50 over 50 campaign. So it's on my website and there's a Facebook ad going. So most of them are coming through the website. I think I might have got two through the Facebook, two out of them. But I've got 42 leads from over the last 2 weeks from them while I was gone. So that's what I'm doing. I'm just photographing,
So
taking
is it
pictures.
possible, do you think, for you to convert these into Mother's Day type
Yeah,
sales?
absolutely. And I think May's far enough away at this point that people may, you know, I haven't honestly started a Mother's Day campaign, but absolutely May would be the earliest that I could even see us
Well,
possibly
I
doing that.
think right now it would be really important to start a Mother's Day campaign.
Yeah.
And I think from a cash flow point of view, if you could come up with some sort of packages or gift certificates that people could buy. So some of these people that are willing to book and willing to make this more about Mother's Day and celebrating Mother's Day could potentially pre-buy a gift certificate that gives them some certain value. So, pick some price points. Maybe it's $500, $900, $1,200, $1,800, $2,400, and then create some offers where people could buy at that level. I think it's important to have something up above that $1,500, $2,000 mark. So then they see that, even if they're not buying it, they see that that's potentially what people could be wanting and spending. But from a cash flow point of view, if you could convert these into pre-bought gift certificates, then it's, if cash flow is an issue, and it probably isn't, but if it is, and people, for those people that have the money, but want to pre-buy, then that's a way that for some people that they could be getting some cash flow in. So I think Mother's Day, more
And
than
then
ever.
Father's Day is in June here, so that's not too far away either.
Well, I mean, if they're buying gift certificates in lieu of, then, it's something that they can pre-buy now. And to make themselves feel a little bit better, we used to have most people that bought our Mother's Day gift certificates bought it for themselves or bought it, for, people that were really, really close to them. So I think, obviously, because it's Mother's Day, but a lot of the mums were coming in buying their own Mother's Day presents. Given that, people are now at home, there's probably going to be, a lot more discussions around it and around family. And it's probably something that people will be looking for a lot earlier to make those decisions. So that's a possibility.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So I interrupted. I love the fact that you've got the leads, but I'm trying to think of ways that we can potentially create some cash flow from it. And when you're having really good calls and people get really, really excited, sometimes there is the possibility, not every time, but sometimes there is the possibility that people are so excited, and particularly with the peacocks, if you can really sense a peacock, or sometimes a high dove when they're doing it for somebody else, they would almost be willing to pre-buy something from you, or start contributing to something. So keep your mind open to that as well.
I think it's what I'm finding, or what I found this week. There's two groups of people. There's people who they have the money, but there's the uncertainty, and then there's people who have gone home not knowing when they're getting another paycheck.
Yeah.
But none of them have said to me, "I don't want to do this. I can't afford it." They've said, "Can you call me back in a month when I know more what's going on?" So that to me is a positive, and that to me is a win.
Yeah.
Even if I haven't booked them and got them on the calendar, they've still loved it enough and given me permission to call them back. Yeah. So, and it's in circumstances beyond their control at this point. So I would much rather them have food to eat than a deposit on my books. Absolutely. And then have a client later on. So,
and they've got to look after their family. So we can't expect people to pull it from, and we don't want to be taking that away from their family. Yeah. But there are people that, they've got cash reserves. Yeah. It's not going to impact them at all. And you've got to feed your family.
Yep.
so giving them the opportunity to share some of that if they do have access, that's okay too.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah. So that's awesome that that even though they don't know that what's going to happen next, they're not dismissing it. And to a degree, I'm
because the conversations are great, and by the time the money comes up at the end, they've loved the conversation. It's not
and
like
that's how it's meant to work. That's exactly how it's meant to work.
Exactly. It's not like I'm getting on the phone and saying, "Hey, look, I'm really sorry. It's going to be, however much." And
yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. So that's positive. So I love it. So I want to leave it there. I just wanted to catch up with what you're doing and what the reactions have been from your clients.
I'm honestly pleasantly surprised. I will admit, Monday morning, I was a little trepidatious. Is that the right word? Yes, I was a little worried to pick up the phone.
Yeah.
And because I just didn't know what people's reactions would be like. And then when I had the first lady, of course, you know what it's like. It feeds the next. And it was so good. It was so great. And just, yeah, I mean, I know it's a scary time and it's unprecedented, but it's also bringing people together in ways that we often forget. It's almost taken us back 50 years ago when you're walking around the streets and everyone says hi to you, and because really you might be the only contact that they've had for the
Well,
day.
we weren't looking down as we're walking, you know.
Yeah, yeah,
You know, I don't know how often I say to my girls, you know, look up, put that away, because you could be walking into a pole without even knowing it. You know, I think, you know, these days we walk around looking down the whole time.
yeah, yeah.
Great for,
And it's just,
great for chiropractors, but
yeah. No, it's been a pleasant surprise. Like, we had a knock on our door this afternoon, and actually, I won't say this afternoon. It was 11 o'clock because my 16-year-old son was still in bed. And it was a retired high school math teacher who lives across the street. And he said, "Look, I know that your son's home from school, and I just wanted to offer if he needed help with his math. I just wanted you to know I was here."
how is that?
That's never, we've lived here for almost 2 years and I've never met the man before, but he wanted to know if he could help us in any way
Yeah,
because my son's at home. And so I think, as horrible as this situation is, it's bringing out the human in people, good and bad, but you choose to look at the good parts of it. And like today, that was fantastic. And
yeah,
so I'm looking for more of that.
that's awesome. And
Yeah.
I think as an industry, we have a lot to offer. And there's lots of people even within our group that have lots of talents that, you know, maybe we could share and inspire people to be more human, inspire people to be, you know, awesome. I think the fact that you're picking up the phone with a positive attitude is making a massive difference. I think people that are picking up the phone expecting the worst get the worst in people. So keeping that positivity up is really, really important.
So the only other thing that I'm doing is, our county is really, really big into supporting small business and shopping in the county and keeping it local. And so I am doing a shop local match, basically. So anybody who buys food from our restaurants are closed, but they're offering curbside or home delivery. Some of our pet supply stores are bringing the goods to you. People are pivoting, people are adapting. And even though places are closed, they're still offering services because they can't have the people sitting in their restaurants, stuff like that. But like the coffee houses, you know, text ahead and we'll meet you at the curb kind of thing. So anybody who goes and buys a coffee, orders takeout, pet supplies, meat from the butcher instead of the grocery store chains, all they have to do is send me a photo of their receipt, and I'm keeping track of how much they spend, and I'm going to match it up to $250 for when this is all back to normal. They can come in and use that as a gift certificate to put towards whatever they would love.
Oh,
So
wow.
what I'm doing, yeah, so it's a lot of fun actually. So what I'm doing every day is we have a local Facebook county group where people advertise and everything. So I'm just looking to see what the businesses are posting, like what they're still doing. And then I'm just sharing it to my business page. I'm tagging them in it. And from this, I've got 2 local businesses who've reached out to me privately and just said, "We love what you're doing. Thank you so much for supporting us. They don't even know me, but they're like, you're such," what was the word? Like,
But I think that's the point, Deb. They didn't know you
yeah,
before, but now
they
they know
didn't.
you because of
Yeah,
what you're doing, and that's awesome. That's so
yeah.
awesome.
And so they've reached out and they've said, "Please just, you know, give us a call. We'd love to be able to work with you." So all I'm doing is literally going to the page, sharing it to my page and saying, "Hey, these guys are still open. Give them a call and they'll drop your food at the corner." Like, I'm just kind of notifying the rest of my clients what's going on. I'm
Yeah.
not doing anything. I'm honestly not expecting anything. I'm just trying to do a service and add value.
Yeah.
That's all I'm doing at
Well,
this point.
supporting local business.
Yeah,
And maybe, when you're getting these receipts, contacting that business and letting them know, hey, this is so awesome that there are people that are spending with you. This is what I'm doing.
yeah.
And maybe you can get some more sort of promotion from them.
See, I hadn't thought to do
And
that yet. I hadn't thought to actually call them and say, hey, whatever. But I will. That's a great idea.
yeah.
That's a really good suggestion.
So I think it's a great way for you to introduce people and just letting them know that this is what you've done, because you're trying to drive people to their business and drive
Yeah,
people to local business and supporting local business. And I think that's going to set you apart from everyone else. And with any luck, they'll start talking about you, and they'll start letting people know, hey, just to let you know, there's this great photographer and this is what she's doing. If you send your receipt to this address, then this is what you could get. So I think
and
that's really awesome, Deb. That's really great. I love that idea. I would never have thought of that. That's great.
so I think any way that you can get out there and help support the local businesses
That's
is
awesome.
fantastic. And the bonus of it is, on those nights when you don't want to cook, you know who's delivering. So it works out well.
That's awesome. That's really awesome. I think to a degree, the way that you're doing it to get people to go back again and again to these businesses is probably a nicer way for those businesses to keep going. So I love what you're doing. It's great.
Yeah.
Really awesome. And I love what we're doing as a community. So I'm really looking forward to having a lot more conversations with a lot more people and finding out what they're doing and sharing some
It's
of that.
amazing because necessity is the invention. What is it? What is that saying?
Um, I know.
You
Well,
know exactly what I'm thinking of, don't
yeah, I
you?
know. Somebody wrote about it the other day, and I can't even think about it.
But yeah, but I mean, it's true. Like when you're
It's
desperate, you
something
think of
about
things.
invention. Something about invention.
Yeah. Well,
Anyway,
anyway, it's great. It does. It makes you think on your feet, and it makes you reassess everything and then
yeah.
prioritize. So great.
Well, great work. Love it, Deb. Thank you again,
All
and
right.
hopefully we can speak to you in the next couple of days and find out what's happening in the next few days.
Well, good.
Thanks, Deb.
All right. Bye.